That's what I was kind of thinking is, combine like issues together, up the time estimate, and then we'll have a lot of stuff to work on.
Right. And so we can get our issues, if I'm reading this correctly, we can get our issues that we're going to create from the sprint goal, which should be situations, like you said, when the player gets into a room, the door locks behind the player and you have to fight enemies, blah, 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 blah. So we can create issues from the sprint goal sentences. So I think if we have it, we can probably do like what, three full length sentences as our sprint goal, and then go through that and find issues that we can create out of that are player facing.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and change it then. In the milestone here, the little GDP milestone under sprint reviews, that's what a sprint goal is. Like, I mean, I didn't. Maybe we take enemies out. Like, I don't see what's wrong with it, but I guess we can update it or whatever.
Yeah. Well, then I'm in
Yeah.
Jira. Does anybody have an idea for the first sentence that we could do as a starting point for the sprint goal? Like, what's something that we can do to create like one example issue from?
Yeah. I was thinking like, um, the player will be able to, having like a movement system, like the player is going to be able to have full control over, a character that, has health, that will have to move around objects and avoid like traps to avoid taking damage. So then that'll show like we have to create a character, health, like a widget, and then it'll not only have objects, but it'll also have like traps that will cause damage, and the player will have to move away from that. And then also because they have health, would probably have like a death animation and a death state too. So
Right.
I,
So you could say something like, for the first sentence, you could say, when the player enters the level, they encounter a set of spikes, and when they accidentally walk onto the spikes, they lose health. Just encompass anything that we'd want to make an issue on that's kind of, quote, story based.
I'm not sure if it needs to be story based though. Like, because again, in their example and stuff, it's like we're gonna have platforms for the player to do this, this, and this. So maybe as a I don't think it really has. Again, that's something also that I'm like very confused about, because it's like I felt like on our first goal and stuff, it was like story based, and they're like it wasn't all that good. And then like we updated it and whatnot, and it was just like, well, even your updated work is not better than that. And then it's just like, well,
Um,
it's got to be three sentences. What is a player gonna do? And their example is like, well, they're gonna have platforms to jump over. So I was like, I don't know if it's supposed to be story based
Here,
sentence.
I'll let me snip this real quick and post it in general, because since it's in the, quote, milestone one doc, um, I'd assume this is what we should go off of. I just posted it.
You can look at it.
And when he says
When the,
stories, I'm assuming he means issues.
they're like user stories.
Yeah, I've been staring at that for like
Wait, was that
two,
ours or
two
is that
hours.
just a regular example?
Yeah, that's the
No,
regular one.
that's an example in the milestone one document for what our sprint goal, one of three sprint goal sentences should be like, that we can then make user stories off of, which we can then make issues off of, so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the that's in the milestone one document. It's the planning. Um, oh wait, sorry, it's the focus of milestone one assignment.
But damn, that's all one sentence too. And no wonder there's like so many different stories that can come out of it. It's like it's almost a paragraph in itself, just in a sentence.
Yeah, so I think our sprint goal needs to be three, or at least, or I'd say three personally, sentences of this length. That it seems like it's player facing sprint goal.
Okay, I can see it. So it'd probably be like, like when the player gets into like, a room, or for us and stuff, since RPG, a dungeon. Have like a gate drop down, locks behind the player.
Player must then defeat all the enemies, or I guess we can't say enemies. The player must solve a puzzle or something in order to unlock the gate while avoiding traps that can deplete the player, that can harm the player or whatever.
Yeah, like little platforms that they have to stand on in the correct order. I would say probably like keep it like to 3 at most and stuff when we're designing this to basically just like, super quick, very simple, but like like a puzzle. And then if they do it in the wrong order, then they take damage, which will probably have to show like maybe some spikes coming up to damage the player. But I think honestly, like the first it would probably be good to just do like traps first, because I don't know how long it'll be to take to program the AI
Right.
to actually attack the player and stuff. That would be something for like the next sprint to do.
Yeah, and each sentence or situation should give a clear picture to those reading it. It should be a standalone sentence, not requiring the context of others. Describe something fun for a user or player to do. Be able to be seen in the game. Should be able to create at least 6 different stories. Describe the challenge to the player. So, I'm probably going to start taking notes here while we're talking on potentially a first sentence that we can do for the sprint. If anyone else wants to, like, if anyone else has any ideas on what we can make for a first sentence.
I wrote just what you said. Like when the player gets into a cave, a gate falls behind the player, and the player engages with a puzzle in order to escape the dungeon. That's as far as I got. But it's like what I have, and it's like it looks really close to like what that example is, except we need to add more. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we need. I'd say 3 sentences would be good, like full length paragraph sentences or whatever.
Yeah, because looking back at our first sprint like goal and stuff, I can actually kind of see it, because it feels like instead of like having those 3 different sentences that we originally had, it's like if we probably would have made that into one giant sentence like this one is, it probably would have been like the first sentence.
Yeah.
But which is dumb, because then he just came by and said like, oh, your first sentence, and not even hinting at that, like we could do that, be like, oh no, your first sentence was nah, your second sentence was better, your third sentence was pretty on point.
So I have when the first player enters into the first room of a dungeon, or I could say the dungeon, whatever, of a dungeon, the gate will close behind them, or a gate will close behind them, trapping them in the room, or in the room. Or, well, here's the thing. Will he be like, you guys just copied the other one?
Probably not, because
that's basically what we did for the first one.
I mean, because in the example and stuff, it says the player will have to engage with the enemy and then have to like dodge and parry to avoid almost all damage, and then get a drop allowing advancement. So like, maybe the first part where we enter, but I feel like that's generic. Anyone could be like, we're gonna have to enter a dungeon or a place or whatever.
Here, I did this. I said when the player enters into the first room of a dungeon, rocks crumble behind them, blocking the exit. So blocking the exit, and they must find a way out, or I can just do that. Blocking the exit.
Could be like the player wakes up there or something.
Oh yeah, the player wakes up. When the player wakes up in a dungeon, they walk towards the exit and find rocks blocking their path.
Or I just thought about this, since we're going to be, or at least trying to implement an inventory system, what if they is this like, it's a dungeon, one door is locked, but there's like another like smaller door that's like kind of hard to see, but that one's locked, and the player is gonna have to solve a puzzle to get a key in order to unlock that.
In order to unlock the other door. Gotcha.
The other door. Yeah. So the puzzle opens the key, and the key opens the door.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm bad at writing in general, so if anyone has a better way of typing that in, we can just come up with
What about? So wait, yeah. So Do we want to make all of this 3 or 4 sentences, or is this the first sentence?
This should be the first one because the example, it's like at least 2 or 3 or 2 sentences worth of dialogue as one sentence.
I mean, I would try to cram as much of the information in there as possible without it being a run-on sentence or something.
Yeah, because he said we should be able to create at least 6 different stories from each sentence.
He said 6
So-
to 20, didn't he? Anywhere
So-
from 6 to 20.
Yeah.
Typical situation can be created between 6 to 20 different stories.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so the
unlock
player
something.
wakes up in a dungeon with the main exit, and finds the main exit being blocked by rocks. By rocks. There is a smaller door. Across the room. By a door. The player then must use the platforms and or so we're saying the player must use platforms and stuff to access a key.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the puzzle.
Must use platforms and jumping to find and acquire the key required to open the alternate exit door. While doing so, the player must avoid landing on spikes and taking health damage.
Is this still the first sentence?
Yes.
Jesus.
Start over.
You
Let me
wanna-
hear it.
Wait, you could paste it in the capstone text channel. That way we can read it.
I'm trying, because with the sprint goal example, when the player gets in a room, the war dog's behind them, and the player engages with an enemy, that will do a lot of damage unless the player can time their dodge and parry abilities to avoid almost all the damage and get a drop, allowing advancement.
That is a run-on sentence, but I understand.
Yeah.
I put it in the text channel. Yeah.
Me.
There we go. Well, to open the alternate exit door and escape. While doing so, the player must avoid landing on spikes. Is it fine that I'm saying, referring to the character as the player? Because it says when the player gets in a room, and
Yeah, you have to, because if you emulate his sentence, everything says the player, the player, the player, the player. Look at the first line. The player gets into a room, the door locks behind the player, and the player engages with the enemy. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta keep it going with the player. You know what I mean? So I think you're doing good with that.
I don't know
Let's
how
say
much.
especially landing on spikes, avoid traps.
Yeah.
We can have more options than just spike balls, and we can add other things in there if we need to.
I do think after the comma you should say the player sees another door. another exit across the room that is blocked by something or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
The main exit is blocked by rocks.
Like seas.
The player sees
Another exit.
another exit in the room. Another exit in the room.
Is it blocked by spikes or is it
that
blocked
is
by?
a door, right?
Okay. Yes.
That is blocked by a locked door. I'm just editing this.
Yeah,
anyway.
let's just. Yeah, that's a good
It
idea.
freaked me out. I seen it change and like it was like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
The
We
main
just keep
entrance
editing it.
the main exit is blocked by rocks. The player sees another exit in the room that is blocked by a locked door. The player must then use, or the player, I should say, the player must then jump
Yeah.
across or
What
jump.
about find their way? Or do we have to be specific? Like either jump or climb? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, by adding platforms and jumping in there, he creates issues to create. I think that's why you did that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
The player then uses the platforms and jumping to find and acquire a hidden key. A hidden key required to open the I'll just say to open the
Exit door.
door
Exit
and
door.
escape. Player wakes up and dungeon finds main exit is blocked by rocks. The player sees another exit in the room that is blocked by a locked door. The player then uses platforms and jumping to find and acquire the hidden key required to open the exit door and escape. While doing so, the player must avoid traps, health, or I didn't put that in.
Uh oh.
Platforms and jumping to find the acquire the door and escape.
Mark, we're sorry, man.
Imagine being
Yeah,
being
he's
out
in
of the
the
loop
party.
on that one.
Key required to open exit door and escape. The player needs to avoid all the should I say all the hidden traps?
I'll just say I typed up something real quick, and like I just want to see what you guys think, and we try to morph what you have and mine together.
when the player starts the game, they find two doors. One is a massive gate blocked by boulders, and the other is a locked door that needs a key that the player must find inside the inventory of another deceased character via platforms. Must navigate the platforms and avoid falling in traps that cause damage. I would say that cause damage to his health or to the player's health, and can cause the player to die.
Just use the player every other.
The player find the player, the door, the player.
The player.
Yeah, and then I edited mine at the end. To acquire the hidden key required to open the exit door and escape, the player needs to avoid all the traps in the room to prevent health loss. Just so, like we were saying, to find a reason to make more issues.
Could you put the player then uses the jump skill?
I don't know. I feel like
it wouldn't be a skill, more of just an innate core thing, core character thing. Yeah.
He's right. We have more organization in Discord than we do in this fucking program.
That's true.
Yes, sir.
So then,
so what were you saying? So about the because it says that the player then uses the platforms and jumping. Like, could you not just say like the player then uses jumping on the platforms?
Has to jump to navigate the platforms to acquire
Something
the
like
hidden
that. Just so when you say platforms and jumping, it's almost like we, um, like I don't know, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just trying to like double check before we post it. You know what I mean?
well, because then in the example, it says the player can time their dodge, which dodge you'd think would be a jumping of some sort. So we create an issue from that. So yeah, if you want to edit and put in jumping or something in there, we can.
Yeah. The player then uses jumping to navigate the platforms to find and acquire a hidden key required to open the exit door and escape. The player needs to avoid all the traps in the room to prevent health loss.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
maybe instead of after escape, like using the comma, the player needs to, like maybe instead of take that away and say, so exit the door and escape while also avoiding all the traps in the room to prevent player health loss.
Or dodging.
I feel like we could kind of combine like the last sentence of what Cody wrote and what Simon wrote. Like put a period after escape in what Simon said, and then
Wait,
start
hold
the
on. Lose
second
points on
sentence.
professionalism? Where?
Yeah, I lost some points in professionalism because of the bullshit assignment.
Yeah,
That
he said we
was not
didn't
clear
read.
because I didn't put anything as a task in Jira for myself. They marked me down as took 15 points off professionalism because of it. I only got 20 points on that assignment.
15
15?
points?
Yes.
Yeah, they took 15 points away on professionalism.
He said I didn't
Jesus.
read articles.
15? What?
Mm-hmm.
With what Cole just put in, instead of saying cause damage and cause player to die, we could probably say that cause the player to lose health or
Yeah, that's fine.
Until they die.
or
No, that would be. Cause I feel like if you do it one time, if it'd be like a one time, you have a certain amount of time to, I don't know, cause the player. Yeah, cause the player to lose health.
That's
Right.
just like the start of the second sentence. I don't know
Yeah,
what
but
else we could add there.
Yeah, but the second sentence would have to be like a separate thing, like its own standalone thing. So it'd have to be something completely different.
oh yeah, no, yeah, we could just. I mean, you can with how he put his example, we can just comma everything and it'd be fine.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
So
the way
wait,
you
are
had
we
it
gonna have the? Are we
in
gonna have like
yours
the
was
falling
fine.
traps? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, are we gonna have like the falling traps and the platforms combined, as if
think-
the player uses jumping to navigate the platforms while also avoiding or dodging the falling traps that may
I
cause.
feel like we could probably do a couple things with that. Like one, have like standalone traps, like those like spike things or whatever that we played in the Sly game from last class,
Mhm.
and then maybe even have like the platforms as soon as they jump onto them, they turn a color, and then after a few seconds they start to fall, and then falling causes damage as well.
yeah, or you could put like spikes below the platforms or whatever.
Yeah.
Skyrim has like 3 different trap systems. They have a spike trap, which you step on, it pops up. They have swinging axes, and then they have fire pots that end up falling and blowing up on the ground.
Yeah, or those little trip wires and stuff that drops rocks on top of you.
Yeah, those two.
So overall, what do you guys think of the first sentence that Cole kind of put together as a combination of the both of me and Cody's, or do you guys think we should add anything to it? How many issues do you think we can come up with? Like, let's look through it and see what issues we can come up with it versus see if it's between 6 and 20.
As the player, I can wake up.
Yeah, well,
Well,
that's why I went with like,
well,
starts
that's
the game, like kind of like Skyrim, like you go, because then if they say start the game, you'd have to have a main menu. You'd have to have the start button that basically brings you in, and then it kind of like opens or fades into view that like, oh, I'm in this room, and then so not only is it a camera, kind of like its own little introduction type of animation type thing, blurring into view of like the actual start of the game, but then you also have to have the character as well too. So from like just starting the game, it could be like a few issues just from that itself.
Right.
There's
so that was
redemption.
what, 2 or 3?
just from like
Yeah,
the
probably
first
just
section
yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably be like 3 issues just from saying like the player starts the game.
All right.
Okay.
Um,
So the dungeon is the dungeon like a lot of issues because it seems like we got to create platforms, the rocks, the exits, the entrances.
Yeah, well, the rocks and
let's
stuff I think
just
could just be spheres, like just little sphere balls or whatever that
Or
we can
like
just.
cones.
Yeah, cones.
I was thinking like cones and stuff with the spikes. Just be
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah, but definitely platforms. Definitely need
Mhm.
basic, probably just a basic square door. Um,
That's
yeah,
one, two, three.
locked
So,
door.
so we at like 6 or 7 right now.
The key that unlocks the door, that's an issue.
yeah,
Yeah.
and to store it, we're gonna need an inventory system so that way we can check a boolean to say like, oh, I have this.
He has the key and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Can
The
unlock
player
the
being
door.
able to move and jump, that's an
And
issue.
we have to make the key disappear and then reappear. Well, reappear when he needs it to use it, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Like inside, like the like another deceased character, like quotes. So we're not using enemy or anything like that. So that way, it's like there's gonna be like kind of introduce like, oh, there's going to be a loot system, but it's also going to be like an inventory system as well too. So it's kind of like introducing 2 things to the player just with one action. You got
Yep.
an inventory system to store the key, and then a loot system to like steer the player to interact with like dead bodies, because then you'll be able to get stuff from them.
You have 5 slots in your inventory, but 1 key. What are the other slots for? Haha.
Gonna have to explore to find out, big guy.
Um,
So I was just like counting as you guys were talking. Basically, we've named about like 12 or 13 issues so far, just off that one.
well, here's the thing: do the issues have to have? Or I'm assuming they do actually. Each issue has to have a user story that goes along with it.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I was taking that into account as I was counting.
And it has to be as the player, apparently, right?
Yeah.
Not
At least the
necessarily.
at least at the issues inside of Jira. Because it's so dumb, like because again, going back to that video of like on that quiz, the stuff that we took, it's just like as the avatar. Well, my perspective is the avatar, and I can have these things, but it's also the perspective is supposed to be like as the player. So it's like it's so confusing that you can be like as the avatar to have these things, but also as the player to see these things. So it's like his whole class is just like whole contradictory.
Yeah, I was actually writing player avatar when I was doing it, but I don't know if that was right or
player
not.
avatar or player character. I think I was writing player character a little bit too, because I was just like, I'm so confused what to write right now.
And I'm looking back at his his email that he just sent out that we were looking at with an example user story that you could get from a sprint goal sentence.
Yeah.
And as a player, I'd like to shoot to destroy enemies. So then, if we look at this one, as the player, I would like to. Would it be like I would like to
Swing a sword?
Yeah, I'm not sure, because then that would be like an animation, and so we either have to create that or import it. So I think we probably should leave that out for at least a little bit and just kind of focus on. I don't know, because it's so dumb that you can't have. I was say that's so dumb that it's like you can't even import like little issues. You have to get approval for it. It's just like we're going with an RPG game. You got approval for it being an RPG game, but the whole point of an RPG game is to have like some sort of progression system, and a lot of what we're doing is like medieval type, combat. So those 2 things are like cohesive and they need to exist together. Otherwise, there is no game basically. But we're told we can't have import or anything like that. So it's like,
Well, I mean, if we try to emulate the old project from not the project, the video from or the game Sly, like it was just a stick that moved with get location. So like we don't really have to create an animation. It could just be like the mannequins walking, and then he has you can just easily put like a skinny cylinder in his socket as a hand, and he doesn't have to swing it, but it can move. You know what I mean? If we wanted to do that, we don't have to like create a whole. That could be our placeholder
Oh shit!
for an animation.
Sorry, I just read Cole's comment about not clicking on one of the assignments, you lose professionalism points. I totally forgot that they said that you have to. They track if you check announcements or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I did that too. That's why I
I
lost
didn't-
15.
The welcome to game design, the very first one that they sent, I forgot to click on it,
I
and
just
then
get
I
lucky.
lost 5 for that.
Damn, I was just getting lucky because I was just clicking on them, so that way I didn't have like a bajillion things like with notifications or whatever. I like to see like, oh, I got a notification, something's been graded, but that little notification thing, it stays on if you don't click on all the announcements. So I've been clicking on all the announcements so that way they would go away, so I get notifications on when I got graded.
How can I look at where my professionalism's at for the class?
Of course,
Course overview and professional. Oh, so they tell you within the professionalism thing.
yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha. Real quick on the back to the it has to have a user story for each issue that we come up with. What in this potential first sentence has a user story? Because we can create a billion different issues, but how many of them actually can be as the player, or the player wants to fill in the blank?
Yeah, so start game would definitely be one. So
Like
as
as the
player,
player, I would like to start the game.
yeah.
No,
so,
as the player, I would like
I
to
want to wake up. Right?
have a main menu
well,
so
no,
that I can.
Well, I think that would just be kind of like implied. So, like, just as a player, I want to start the game. So, completion criteria, the player is going to have a main menu that says start game, have to click the button, and then from there, transition from the main menu to the player, like the player character or whatever, and then take control. I think that take control of the character would probably be as a player, I want to be able to have an avatar represent myself so that way I can interact with stuff inside this world. So, I think just with if we start the game, it would be like as a player, I want to start the game so that way I can go inside of a fictional world and kind of like either express myself or, has something to do inside of that world. So move around, do these things. And then
Okay, so I think we have that in here under, is it characters?
As the player, I would like to start the game so that I can play it.
Yeah, it says that as an
basically,
avatar, I want to exist so that I can represent the player.
oh,
That's what we
Yeah.
do have in there. So we can
Yeah,
just
and so-
update that one.
yeah, so then that would just be like, we have to completion criteria. What's the player going to see? So it's going to be a main menu. It's going to have buttons that say start game. If I click the button that says start game, it's going to transition from the main menu and then basically just kind of fade in where the whole level and the player character is just in that dungeon, in that room.
Well,
And then
also take note in the example thing that I posted. It says each sentence should include or should give a clear picture to those reading it. Obviously, it should be a standalone sentence, not requiring the context of others. Obviously, describe something fun for a user to do. Be able to see in the game. Should it be able to create all those stories, blah blah blah, and describe the challenge to the player. Those are things we got to keep in mind when coming up with those too.
So as
Well,
the
that's for
player,
the
I
sprint
want to have
goal.
an avatar that represents myself.
yeah, so I don't think that's for like each.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
for
I
the
don't think
sprint
that's
goal, not the
for-
user stories.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it says or situation, so it's like a single situation inside the sentence could be all of those.
Yeah.
But without it being it's like the start game, that's a clear picture. Like I have to start the game, so that means there has to be some sort of way for me to be in like either exit game or start game. And then the challenges would probably be the platforms and avoiding traps. And then I hate when they say something fun because this whole entire like course and the school is like, hey, fun is basically perspective. What's fun for some people may not be fun for others, So it's like, so in that sentence, it's like, how do we know it's fun? It's just like,
Right. So then, do we think that the most recent variant of that sentence is a good first sentence, or do you guys think we need more for that? Because I think we have enough that we can go off of in terms of issues for the sentence.
yeah.
I think
Okay,
that's a good.
let me go
Can we
into
create-
Jira.
Yeah, can we just create the issues in Confluence so we can go ahead and just shoot them to Jira right now? Because we basically have it. We just need to update it.
Right. Or, I mean, you could also just do the opposite as well and just make the issues in Jira and then translate those over to Confluence, whichever you guys prefer.
How do you translate it from Jira to Confluence?
Or, sorry, not like put them over there, but I mean, like, if we come up with an issue based off of this first sentence,
Oh,
we
you can
can
link
go
it.
over to Confluence and be like, all right, where would that be in our Confluence document, and just adjust the writing of it or whatever.
Yeah, or what we
Ah,
should do is like break down that first sentence, and then like get all the user stories off of it. Like what we could do, like like for instance, the starting the game. Like I want to start the game. That would probably go under the gameplay framework. Um, and so basically get all the user stories we possibly can out of that sentence, and then each person takes a user story, and then we all go inside of Confluence, create that user story, so that way it's not just one person creating all the user stories, and we can tackle that out pretty quickly.
yeah, we can knock that out. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So we got the starts. We got to start the game, and then going from there, the players wakes up, so that means starts the game. They're gonna have to start the game somehow and take control of the base character or avatar. I'm not sure what you guys want to name it. So
But we already have an avatar.
Does someone have a like issue creator up at the moment?
I do.
Okay, cool.
I was gonna say I'm just kind of writing these down.
I wanted to see if I could write out just like the health one because it seemed like the easier one, just to bust out real quick to see if I got it correct.
Right. There are no issues, blah, blah, blah. That moment when you forget where and how to create an issue because you're tired.
You and Jira?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you just go to create and then
Oh, there we
create
go.
at the top and then use a story or a task or epic or what have you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably the best way because you can create them inside the backlog or inside the roadmap, I think, as well too. But yeah, doing the create is probably the best way to do it because then it gives you access to description and stuff as well.
Does that mean we want to create a new epic as well, or keep the epic
Yeah.
the same?
I mean, it deleted the old epic, so we're gonna have to do a new one. But I don't know. He didn't say anything about the hook and stuff being bad. So the player like to complete quests. NPCs come back.
So can I put this like
All of
as
our-
the player, could I say like as the player I want to have an avatar that represents myself in the game world?
Yeah, that would probably be the best description for the avatar character, whatever we want to name it.
What would be like completion criteria? Because it has here already in a base avatar for all future characters. Or can we put like create a character blueprint? Should it be, you know what I mean? Like,
We'll have to be player facing, so it would.
I'd say just reference his email, which I guess is his personal criteria on his example that he gave.
Yeah. I think
Got it.
define base avatar will be something a subtask for us to do, but it being player facing, the completion criteria itself will probably have to be like, have a have a character that the player can possess that with I don't know, like a camera zooming on or in on them, or
like yeah.
like something they can control basically.
Right. So the player wakes up in a dungeon and finds the main exit is blocked by rocks.
Can somebody put that in the little GDP milestone on where the sprint goal is? I think we're agreeing on that, right? Like that last iteration of the sentence.
Oh, yeah. I already put that in the GDP sprint one. Yeah, I put it in the. I at least put it in the sprint goal description. I can move over and put it over there.
I did the health one. I just want to see if that's what we're supposed to do.
Which that would correspond. The one that you just made would correspond to the part of the sentence that says
Yeah,
the
which
player
is,
needs to avoid falling traps and cause the player to lose health.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that it's correct with how, because I went off of what he gave us as an example without adding any of the components and stuff yet.
Okay, so
That's
player
how
like
that's supposed
to see
to
how
be.
much health I have on taking damage. The player can see their health drop on taking a potion. The player can see their health increase.
Like, just as an example thing for us to kind of go off of. From
Right.
What he gave.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, at least off that first sentence so far, I was able to write down at least 12 user stories that we can get from that sentence.
Okay. Good. Let's see. With the description, did he give an example of the description on how that needs to work? That would be the completion criteria, yeah?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, the description
Yeah.
actually has to have completion criteria labeled on it.
Yeah, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Because on his example in the email, it just says, here's an example user story, the completion criteria, dependencies, then subtasks.
Can we put completion criteria in the text box?
Yeah, that's what we did. Or that's what he wants.
Yeah.
Would we? I like the addition of it because it would definitely need to be something at some point. For the time being, do we need the potion in the completion criteria or on taking a potion thing?
Well, I don't think it needs the potion part of it. I just added it in there as kind of a subtext thing.
Gotcha.
Health.
On user input, on taking damage, the player can see their health bar drop.
Like on overtime, or if the player inputs an item that they gain, they can increase their health. So the potion,
Right.
some lines.
I just made I'm making an issue for the avatar thing that was just created.
Is there any other completion criteria we could add to the health that you guys think? I don't know if you guys have it open or not, but I have the issue up that Andrew.
The avatar health?
Yeah. Or as the player, I would like a way to see how much health I have. That one, yeah.
Yep, as a player.
On taking damage, the player can see their health drop. Should be a completion criteria of it, I assume.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
Put everything down that I thought would be a completion criteria, and then obviously we'd have subtext and stuff. Which we can put just another line underneath that, which would also add those two to it as well.
I'm just so afraid to add a whole, shit ton of stuff because he'll be like, you added too much in, or this completion criteria isn't relevant, or some of it isn't relevant, blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah, that's why you said have that part that says completion criteria, and then have like another space underneath of it. This is all like the subtasks we need, which would have those two completion criteria, and then anything else we need to add to.
Which
Well,
would be creating the health bar, yeah?
Yeah, health bar, and then all the backlog for actually taking health away from the player and stuff.
Well, let me go. I can open up my Unreal again and see what I did to create a health thing. Because apparently he wants us to have like 1 billion subtasks per story, so...
Yeah.
Also,
the dog in the background.
No, you're good. I was gonna say everyone is doing a great job with what we've been doing, so don't feel like if we're all sucking. We're all doing a great job with the shit that we've had to go through. So I'll say create a HUD widget. Where is that? Yeah, widget blueprint. All right, there we go. I can work off of this. And we obviously don't have to do all this tonight and be doing this live. I'm just thinking if we do a couple of these things live, we can all kind of get an idea of what we're supposed to do. So then we can, when we're off chat, we can just text
Make sure
it,
it's
know what to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
make sure it's getting done right.
I mean, I like the fact that we're meeting because it kind of strengthens the resolve that we need to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I like it anyway.
Create a widget blueprint. Don't worry, Cole. The beginning of it was us just complaining.
Yeah, like 45 minutes of it was just us freaking out.
Healthy venting is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
I was internally freaking out. But...
All right,
Oh,
so
I'm always freaking out. I'm literally on my last straw with the school. If I fail this class, they're gonna kick my ass out. I'm always freaking out at this point.
Well, since capstone is the final thing of all of it, essentially, if we don't want to fail, you won't fail. So don't worry, we got you. Where's my Unreal? There it is. So create a HUD widget, blueprint called player HUD underscore UI. There we go. Subtask 1 created. All right.
When we're creating issues, like aren't our all the information for our issues should also be documented in Confluence, right?
Yeah, well, I'm just taking it from Confluence and editing in it, and then creating the issue from there, just so I
Right.
can save myself time. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was another way to create issues or not, but I just wanted to make sure that all of our issues were documented in Confluence.
Yeah, and I mean you can cross-reference first and see if the sprint goal or if this first sentence that we made lines up with anything in Confluence. You can just copy, essentially just copy it over. If not, you can just create a separate issue for the first sentence. Add a progress bar titled health or player health. If he wants 1 billion steps, I'll give him 1 billion steps.
Let's give him what he wants, man. You know what I mean? Did someone already create the movement yet? Because I'm on the movement right now. Okay.
Right, except not as many freaking restrictions.
Well, once we graduate.
When everything could just be done in Discord.
I want to work in project management, honestly.
I have no idea.
Oh, you mean like after school?
Oh, Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft.
Personally,
I mean, if From Software says something, I'm out. You know what I mean? But I'm just.
Cough, cough, Elden Ring, cough. which freaking slaps, by the way. What's
Elden Ring-
that?
I don't think Elden Ring is good.
Oh, no, I experienced some bugs yesterday when I'm trying to summon my friends for multiplayer. Within a certain area, it would summon them and then immediately kick them out. But the second I stepped outside of this certain area, it would successfully summon them every time without fail. So there was a bug with the multiplayer aspect of it. I either want to work at Riot because they already own my soul anyway with playing League of Legends.
Same.
Or I will go Nintendo because if you guys ever saw my room, I have all the old consoles, all the old games just everywhere. So I'm a total Nintendo geek. I'm also good at voice acting and video editing and audio engineering and all that because that's what my dad does for a living. So I would also like to branch out into like voiceover work or video audio editing.
I
Nice.
like that.
Hit a progress bar, title player health. Where?
No.
I ain't.
I felt like it would be kind of creepy, so I didn't.
Oh, that's good. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Find the player health progress bar.
Doing the jump right now.
Just realized I was muted that entire time. I was getting my dog to be quiet and forgot to unmute. The next time we have a meeting, I will record it. I have the software on my other computer to do so. I don't have it on the laptop anymore since I do a lot of streaming on the side, so I have all that stuff already prepared on my desktop.
The same with like OBS and stuff.
That's how I did the videos for our research page. Which the new videos are on my higher level Skywalker.
Oh yeah, what was the issue with your videos that he was having?
They were so. What he said was here. Let me pop that up. I did. Originally, they were fine, which pisses me off. We also have to remove some of the videos to Confluence as we've reached the size limit. This has to be addressed. So I said, fuck it, remove an hour and a half worth of videos, and I'll just put in several couple-minute videos instead.
Right.
So I have resolved their issue with what I put in there.
It's
not what I got downgraded on. It was not having any issues. Not having any issues assigning the backlog, which I did. And I forgot to add stuff in the actual sprint. So I got marked down for both of those. So I got hit so bad. I just got hit really bad at work the last couple of days, so I was preoccupied.
Right. Sorry, I'm super bad at typing and talking at the same time. So then the player taking damage would be separate from them seeing how much health they have.
Like, what do you mean?
Like if we had two different issues, one for as a player, I'd like to see how much health I have, would be separate from as a player, I'd like to know when I take, or I'd like to have a way of seeing when I lose health or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like we can do that, like, because I had updated the list and stuff of doing like damage type. So like, we got health. So it's like, as the player stuff, I would like to see a visual representation on the screen of my health, which we could, I mean, even for the time being right now, we could just, have a bar that's, red, green, whatever we want it, and then have health above it.
Right.
So that way the player knows, like, hey, here's my health. But then damage type, just because, like, we got the traps, but if you also fall down from a certain distance, you take damage as well too, and that could be its own separate issue to say, like, oh, there's different kinds of damage types. And then I kind of also feel that that could be later on as well too, like in expanding on that, like where we can take damage from combat, like melee weapons. We could have like a damage type of ranged for like bows, or even a damage type from like magic. And
Right.
that could all be underneath that damage type for easier organization for later on.
Mm-hmm. So completion criteria has to be player facing, yeah.
Yeah, so for like instance, I went ahead on the gameplay framework and just updated the start game, which is, as a player, I'd like to be able to have an option to start the game, and then as a completion criteria, I just named off all the stuff that the player will be able to see. A title screen with the name of our game or main menu, whatever you want to call it. They'll see a start game or quit game button. Pressing the start button will transition the player from the title screen to the game world, and then pressing quit button will end the game and take player to desktop. So that's just what I had as the completion criteria. And then for like the subtasks, it'll have to be like, oh, we have to have like not only all this stuff to be able to complete it, but we'll also have to have like the main menu UI. We'll also have to have the buttons. We'll have to have code that says, hey, start, transition from this level to the main level. Pressing the quit button will quit the game. So,
Right.
yeah, so there'll probably be at least 10 to 12 different, subtasks just for this one little user story. But like you said, if he wants a billion subtasks, he's going to get them. We going to deliver.
So then, just to make sure I got it correct, then I put in the player health one that we had made just now. Completion criteria: the player can see a red bar on their screen showing them their health. Would that qualify?
What's the title again?
As a player, I'd like a way to see how much health I have.
Is that under?
It could be like, I'd like to have a value of health.
What's that?
I say, did you? Are you on Jira or Confluence right now?
Oh, I'm on Jira. It's the issue that Andrew made just as an example, which would fall under our sentence of knowing if the player took damage or not or whatever.
As the player, I want to know.
Because for the first class, they put, I would like to have a value of health so that I cannot live forever. I don't know if we want to follow that same thing or not.
Oh, here we go. We can change it from as a player, I would like to see how much health I have. As a player, I'd like. Well, I mean, I guess that works because it's saying how much of a value of health they have.
Right.
Yeah. And honestly, the character health from our character health user story from Confluence, I don't think it's that bad. We just have to reword it, like, because it already has like add health bar. Health bar should be red, and it should be at the bottom center of the screen. And then upon taking, like what we can do is like player will be able to see, a red bar with health text written above it. The health bar will be located at the bottom center of the screen for easy visibility. And then the health bar will health bar will decrease as player takes damage.
And you want all that to go into the issue that Simon is talking about? Or is that a different issue?
I was thinking that could be like the completion criteria for the player health that Simon was talking about.
Yeah, because I mean,
Okay.
I was just going off of the part where it says the traps which cause players to lose health, so therefore we need an issue that says the player needs to have health in order for them to lose health.
Yeah, which is very confusing because us doing it this way is going to create like a lot more dependencies. Like, in order to complete this, I need like, as a player, like I need the trap system in order to be able to be complete. But then the trap system is also going to need this health system in order to be complete based on his criteria that they need to be player facing. It's like
Maybe that was like that was like their point or something like that. Which what maybe we should probably try to keep it as simple as possible.
yeah, make it as cryptic as possible too.
Yeah.
Hey, the only way to beat the Riddler is to give him a riddle. He can
Yes,
never solve
sir.
it.
Where's the health section in Confluence?
It's in
Character
characters.
core.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
it's under
character and
just
then
the
character core.
variable.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the variable is under character core, but the actual, like what you had put for create the widget, the progress bar, all that's going to be under the HUD UI.
Yeah, when I created it, I was going off just the avatar health one.
I'm also thinking kind of as we create these new like user stories and stuff, what we can do is, like if we don't want to like lose all this, is like copy all of this stuff and then put it on a document. That way we'll always have it, but then kind of like basically also kind of like try to gut the Confluence pages as well too, so that way we're only having the user stories that we're going to be working on inside of Jira.
Based off of the sentences from the sprint goal. Gotcha.
Yeah.
There.
Like the AI based enemies and NPCs and stuff. Like that'd be cool and stuff, and it's something we might work towards later on. But like, right now we probably shouldn't have that, so that we're not focusing on it or taking our focus away from the other things.
Right.
Could we not just only have like if we leave everything as is, only the ones that we're working on should be the ones that have issues, and that's the only ones we'll be working on. So we don't have to like delete anything.
Yeah.
Because I mean, eventually we're gonna have that, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, just instead of like completely just deleting it, it would be like, go in, edit it, copy it, and then like post it on like a Word document or a Google Docs document, and then have everyone access it. And that way it's just kind of off of Confluence for now, but easily accessible on the
Okay, yeah,
another document that we can just copy it and then paste it on a Confluence when we need to.
got you. Yeah, I got you. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, with how he gave an example in his email, he was doing bullets.
Yeah, I was thinking keep it at bullets.
All right, keep it on bullets. All right.
I think if you do it number way, you're saying, "Hey, I need this one done and then this one done in order to complete it." Whereas it could be in either any of the order in order to complete that criteria.
Right.
By having it 1, 2, and 3, you're literally going, "Okay, I need to finish this first and then this one." But literally, you could finish the bottom one first and then work on the other one if you needed to. That way, you're nailing it on it.
Don't feel pressured when you're making completion criteria to feel like it needs, like 10 or 20 completion criteria. If it's something simple that doesn't require it, then oh well. Then, just come up with a few. I mean, as a player, I would like a way to see how much health I have. The only completion criteria I can come up with that's player facing is the player can see a red bar on their screen showing them their health. The health bar must be at the bottom center of the screen. That's literally all I can think of. Truth.
Yeah, I was thinking like the regular camera, the way it's set up, the third person, the way it's originally viewed would probably be under like the base, the avatar, but then being able to rotate it around and see different things. And then even
the camera should be under I want to traverse the level, because you want to be able to see what you're looking at around the level.
Yeah, I was also thinking like with the camera as well too, that it would also have stuff that would pop up when you're like, oh, I go to the door but it's locked. It actually has like text that come up says, oh, locked door. Or like if you go up to that body and stuff, it'll say like, oh, press like whatever interact button is. If we're going off Skyrim, like E to interact or E to loot.
Right.
The issue for the health as a player, I would like to see how much health I have. It doesn't have intent in there.
Is there any, do you know if there's any intent that we could add into it to make it?
As a player, I would like to see how much health I have.
As a player, I would like to see how much health I have so I can avoid, or like, so I can prevent losing any, or I can tell if I'm close to dying or something like that.
Yeah, like in order to, like you said, like in order to make sure I'm not close to dying. The way I got intent was like it was in order to, basically, kind of that way.
In order to prevent, okay, here we go. I did that. I said, as a player, I'd like to wait to see how much health I have in order to prevent dying. Or
well, just seeing how much health you have doesn't prevent death.
Yeah, or making
True.
Making bad decisions resulting in death, or resulting in damage taken.
Just put like so I can track my health or something.
That so I can see how much health I have, or so I can track it. Yeah, like you said there. Yeah, I guess as a player, I'd like a way to see how much health I have so I can track it. There we go. That works. You could probably put in crafting into the backlog doc. I mean, unless we want to utilize crafting in this first section.
Well, you can still be in the backlog. It just can't be a part of the first sprint.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, but also we still have don't we still have the second and third sentence to go for the first sprint as well, for the sprint goal?
Yeah, we still need at least one more sentence for the first sprint. Which means we could go real simple with that second sentence to like add crafting and stuff, like when they go into the next room.
I feel like we need to just make sure we're following the right format for the user story issues.
Right.
Because I'm looking at the issues we've created just so far, and there's still like a lot of them that aren't following perspective, action, intent.
All right, well, let's go through and figure out which ones those are so we can fix them.
As the player, I want to have an avatar that represents myself in the game world. There's no intent in that one.
I think this is good as well that we're doing this as well, just making sure that it meets the requirements. So does the health one look good to you then?
Yeah, that one is fine now.
What would be some intent to have an avatar, like to do stuff?
Um,
So that I may explore the game world or something like that?
Right.
Or so that I can explore the map or level, whatever you want to call it.
So that
or you could just, as the player, I want to have a controllable avatar, so that I may explore the game world.
Yeah, I like that.
So whoever created that one can go in and fix that. Do you think when referring to the sentence losing health, should I include that in the how much health I have and tracking it, or should I just make it a separate one? Like as the player, I would like I like to know when I lose health so I can tell if I'm close to death or whatever.
Oh, are you talking about like a damage effect, or?
Yeah, or just like the health bar going down, so I can be like, oh, I touched that and the health bar went down. I should probably not do that.
Yeah, that could be a different. Like as the player, I would like to see a damage effect so that I can tell when I'm taking damage.
Here, I would like to see a damage effect, so I know. All right, so inside, let me look at the completion criteria for the avatar one. What else do we need to add to the completion criteria for that one? Because I mean, I like the player has an avatar that reacts to user input, but is there more that we can add to that?
Trying to think.
I know I couldn't find anything because I didn't. What else would we? What could be player facing that other than just so he can? You know what I mean? Like I couldn't find anything else. I thought
Right.
that seems like one of those that just is gonna have to be.
Like just a shorter one?
Yeah, unless we can find something because I feel like there should be something else, but I couldn't produce. So
Well, I'm curious if we even really need this issue at all, because I mean, the character comes with the project. I mean, maybe like getting the character to move would be an issue, but
player movement.
just the
Yeah.
character itself.
You have player movement because in the sentence we're talking about using jumping to get on platforms and stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
I think we could go ahead and delete this one.
All right. Go ahead and delete it.
Create character blueprint or adopt built-in character blueprint in engine.
Yeah, that was a subtask for that same thing.
Oh, okay. Because it looks like an actual issue.
Yeah, if you look to the left, the color is it's like
Oh,
a
I
blue
see. I see.
subtask. Whatever is related to that, because I assumed like if we're starting the game from scratch, the player we need to have one created. So that's why I put that in there.
Right.
Because I assumed as the player, nothing really comes by default except themselves. So it's like, but then. Okay. We delete that one.
All the other issues seem good. I was looking at the subtasks when I said that the first time. There was only 2 in there that weren't following the right format.
Wait, subtasks have a specific format too?
No, I was accidentally looking at the subtask when I was talking about the format
Oh, 'cause
for regular tasks.
I was gonna say, man, I need to email him again. I just need to
Yeah,
email
that
him.
would be ridiculous.
That one really got people like I ain't doing that. Nope.
So as the where is it? What are we? The game world. That's what we're deleting, right? We're representing. We're deleting the SFC 151, right?
Yep.
Okay. SFC 151 delete. Yes.
You should probably delete any subtasks that you had created for it also.
Yeah, I think it did by
And then after we come up with the issues for this first sentence, do we want to worry about the epic link? Because we don't have any epics now because we got rid of everything, yeah?
Yeah. Hmm. I think the epic is supposed to be.
The hook.
What was the epic?
I think our epic should be per milestone. So our epic will hold all of the issues that we're going to complete in milestone 1. I think. I mean, I'm not really sure.
Did I create a playable build or a?
Go ahead and create the epic real quick, and all we have to do is just go in and edit it, like the description and the little bullet points and stuff.
Got it. Okay. But should we also like take the wait? Is it there? There we go. Yeah, it's there. Does the player character need to even be in Confluence then? Because if it's not going to be an issue, we want to like put that with the other with the other places, with the other where the other content is going in that document file, or
I don't know. I feel like
Yeah, I
we
don't think
should.
that section.
I still feel like we should have like a character, even if we are importing it, we should still have it as a issue, because it'll be able to show the links and stuff. Even though like we know that like if we have the player character imported and stuff, it's just still kind of one of those things. As a player and stuff, I want to be able to control this person, and then have it react with other things, so that way we can kind of show this like. But also for us as an organizational standpoint, like we know that in order to get this task, we have to, even if it's not like blocking per se, we still know it's linked directly to like the player character.
all right. We'll go ahead and put it back on there.
You could do like a damage effect like type thing, like with a red, square around your screen as a UI. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
You
that's not.
Like a camera
I think that's
view,
a part of
maybe?
the UI.
There's multiple different type of damage effects
As we make these, should we add the time that we think it may, or are we going to wait until we have them all done? And
I'd
then
say wait until we have them all done. That's just my personal opinion, but if y'all think it would be easier to do it now, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think
I
we
think
probably should wait until we have it all done, and then as we assign it to ourselves, then that way we can come up with how long each of us individually think that we will take to be able to complete that task.
That
Got
makes
it.
sense.
For like one person, like it might be able to take an hour, but for someone else working on it, it might be 2 or 3 hours.
don't forget to add the components to them too.
we're gonna have 169 hours worth of tasks.
Yeah.
That is a subtask. It's still related to avatar and character core. This is going to be movement.
And I don't feel like it's necessary to put it like in the subtasks on his email. He said, you know, create a weapon component called BP underscore weapon component and all that, or create an input binding. I don't think with most of these we have to go, be redundant and say, create this within the code so it operates. I mean, I think it's just like the base of what needs to be created to work.
Yeah.
I just want to be petty. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie to. I just want to be petty. I want to see what's gonna happen.
Oh, that's how I felt today at work. I was still feeling so petty with all my coworkers. I was like, I'm fucking going home. Screw you guys.
Like if he
I
says
literally
it's
showed up. I looked at
Rob
all of them. I'm like, I'm going home. Nope, you go today.
Ben.
I feel like he's gonna look at the first sentence of our sprinkle and he's gonna think we're being petty.
Oh, let me go back and read it. Wait a second. I have to go back and read it. Where is it? Player wakes up in a dungeon and finds a man. Yeah, hey, he's gonna say we're petty. Like I'm like he's gonna say we're petty. Maybe he just wants to create some petty designers, you know?
He's working out that negative feedback shit. Can't take everything personally. We're getting that out now before we actually get into this field.
Exactly. Look, if he wants it that way, I'm going to make it that way. Because he's the one giving the grade, meaning he's the one paying me. Fine.
Yep.
Create character BP blueprint. Name it character BP blueprint. Do I get my check now? Because I have to feed my family. My family's hungry, please. And so, what do we have here? What's that? There it is. We got the dungeon. The dungeon will go under like the level, right?
Yeah, I'm working on that one.
Interaction, is that is that related to the avatar or for UI?
I don't know.
Right? So because I see we
It's
got
not
start.
It'll
UI.
probably be under the. I think it'll probably be under the player, like as
Player. Okay.
That's like a player action.
The camera rotation platforms.
And all these ones for the sprint sentences that we're doing are in the sprint goal. We're just putting under that the SFC base player functionality epic. Yeah.
Yeah, I like. Yeah. Who made that? That's a good one.
I did.
Good. Then yeah, I guess all these can just go under that we're making from these, and then we can go on when we get the next milestone. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Be like, oh,
So-
we're gonna create a bit more complex system of battle or something like that.
Yeah. We got the traps. Okay.
All right, so I labeled mine that I just finished working on. I think they're good to complete. Does someone want to look at the completion criteria and subtasks for the? I would like to see a damage effect, so I know when I'm taking damage.
Was that Cole looking at him? Because it seems like he was really good at.
Yeah, where is it?
It's the I don't know if the page is refreshed or not, but it's SFC 163. Oh, I forgot to add in the.
Yeah,
Wow.
looks good to me.
Okay, cool.
Go in there and just. What's that? Who somebody's in the levels environments making that one.
Yeah, I was working on the dungeon one.
Okay, yeah, I just saw your icon. I was leaving it.
Yeah, that's why I stopped for a second because I was like, wait, I'm not doing the top.
Yeah,
What's going on?
yeah, can you just do whatever you're gonna do with that? Go ahead and do it. I'm getting out of that screen there.
All right.
Just close it out. All right, I'm gonna look at another one here.
So the next on the list because me and Cole and whoever else are looking at these issues in the backlog so far. As the player, I want to find and acquire a hidden key required to open the exit door so that I can escape. That looks good in terms of user story.
Yeah.
Completion.
There's one I see.
What's the one that you're looking at?
It says I don't have access to this issue. Oh, I guess it was deleted, but
Which one?
Did you
it's
refresh?
Try refreshing the page and see if that fixes it.
Yeah, you'll have to refresh the page if you're on Confluence.
I think he's on Jira looking at all the him and Simon on the issue, looking at the checking the completion criteria. I think.
Yeah, we're all going. We're half of us are in Jira, other half are in Confluence.
Yeah, I got both up.
Any
Okay.
ideas for completion criteria for the hidden key? Or I want to find and acquire a hidden key. Players should see the key on screen, or
Am I able to pick up the key?
no pun intended. So then I guess completion criteria, the player can see.
it's gonna go into an inventory, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so the key is able to be looted and placed in the inventory.
visible and able to be placed in the player. Okay, I guess lootable isn't a word. Okay.
Wait, it's not a. That's not a
Yes,
word. I was
It is
just.
a word.
I was like, that's two. That's two completion criteria. You got the key is a lootable item. The key can go into the inventory. Like it's not a word.
Well, at least according to my word correction.
Suitable. It's definitely a word.
I just put the key is interactable and able to be placed in the player inventory when picked up. Or here, how about this?
And
I could have
appears
two-
in the player's inventory.
Yeah, I could do 2 completion criteria. One, the key is interactable, and
Mhm.
then the key can be placed in the player, or when interacted with, the key is placed in the inventory.
Got it.
When interacted with, the key disappears off the ground as well. Could be.
The hidden key is interactable when interacted with. Because it was the player seeing. This disappears off the ground. When acquired, the key will then go into the inventory, blah, blah, blah.
Has anyone done one for platforms yet?
I don't.
Okay.
Are you doing that in do that in Confluence or Jira? Okay. Make sure you guys reference the issues there so it can be seen on both ends at least. Anybody doing the so we got the health system already. Got traps. Well, is someone doing traps? Because he was just on platforms.
I could do traps. I haven't done one yet.
Remember, traps are gay.
All right, I'll write that down.
Basic
completion
completion criteria.
criteria.
Traps are visibly gay.
Yeah.
How do we code that? What's the subtask for it?
Flaming homosexual traps.
That's messed up, man. So loot, we got loot. The key is loot, right? So
Yeah, so I have the key is interactable. When interacted with, the key disappears off the ground. When acquired, the key moves into and is able to be seen in the player inventory. And then I could do something like the key can be used from the inventory.
okay. Yes. Wait, would that be?
Would that be an inventory or or well, at least for the sake of this? I
It'd
think
probably
it
be for the door. I think.
okay.
Well, first, so are we? So this is what I want to ask. In this first sprint, are we going to actually have the animation of them doing that, or is it like a block mesh where you just have he acquired the key disappeared. We're assuming it goes to his inventory, but the fact that he has the key triggers the door to open when he's around it.
I don't know. That's up to whoever's creating the inventory, I think.
Well, for the sake of simplicity, which we can then change down the road, obviously, I'd say, you know how you have a little bar in any RPG or something that you have like your skill boxes or inventory boxes showing what potions you have. You could acquire it, then put it down in that little hot bar, and then when you approach a door, you can say, press E to use key or whatever, and then the key disappears from your hot bar down at the bottom or whatever.
Okay, cool. So that needs to be that's a completion criteria for something. Like is that UI or is
Yeah,
that?
I don't know if that is with the one that I'm doing to find and acquire the hidden key, or if
And-
it's with something else.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
it
would be
could
a
be a
whole
part of
different
like
issue.
loot or something. I don't know. Inventory.
Oh, like using the key would be a separate. Yeah.
How do you create an issue without doing it through Confluence?
Oh, just go to create up there, right?
Are you
create,
talking about on
yeah.
the Jira side? Because if you are, you just go to the backlog, and underneath the backlog issues, it should just say create issue.
Yeah, I see it now.
Eventually move all this stuff into our sprint.
Yeah.
Eventually.
No, I think that would be a part of interaction, wouldn't it? Like
What
the
kind of
key-
traps are they going to be? Are they just gonna be little spikes or what?
What do we
I
say?
think
Spikes? Yeah.
I think for now it's to be
For now.
spikes, and again later on and stuff we can do like a giant rock tied to a freaking rope pop down and hit, like more complex stuff later on.
Yeah, like booby traps.
Yeah, booby traps. There we go. But yeah, I think for just now and stuff, just little spikes.
So the spikes can damage us, and also fall damage can damage us.
Yes, which I included within my issue. I'm
Excellent.
saying I would like to see damage effect. Says, crap. I guess I have to open it.
So we got a damage type here, number 13.
Yeah, I put create within or as one of the subtasks. Create within the player character underscore BP code that causes players the player's health bar to lower when spike or fall damage is taken.
Got it. Okay. So do we also need something that says, as the player, like, or do we have that already? Like, I want to be damaged when I, you know, reach the criteria, or is it like the spikes, and then another one would be the fall damage?
Would it be as the player? I would like to. I would like to take damage because I'm a masochist.
Yeah, that's good. I put as a trap, I would like to damage the player when collided with to increase level difficulty.
And it doesn't have to be always as the player, right? It can be like as the trap.
It's just whatever perspective you're going from.
Okay.
So yeah.
Then I would put as the player, I would like to take damage so that I know, or I would like to take damage so that I can know what hurts me, or I would like to take damage so that I cannot live forever.
Yeah. I can't live for it. Maybe put those together. Like I know, or so that I can't live forever, and that I know what things can damage me to avoid them further.
Right.
Well, that's just like for the player to be able to take damage. Period. That's not like trap specific.
Yeah.
For what I'm the one I'm doing.
If everything has to be well, I guess that is player facing, I suppose. It's like player facing. How can that even be player facing? I don't. As the trap.
Have
Because-
some sort of visual effects happen when they
or
collide with the trap. Like player collides with trap, health bar decreases. VFX happens to alert player to know what happened.
And the blocked issues or what it's blocked by would be the one that I made as the player. I'd like to see a damage effect so I know when I'm taking damage.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, and I feel like at this point, because of what he's saying and how we're making these, like, the dependencies are kind of more or less like relative. It's like we can work on it, but in order to complete it, because we're gonna have to do the video of us showing how these are completed, we won't be able to, actually video it until the other issue's done.
Right.
But it still feels like, if two issues are blocking each other, but in order for them to be completed, they need each other to be. It's just so confusing.
I'm gonna ask. Yeah, I don't know. Let me ask him a question in the feedback here. We got a quiz due on the 11th.
Yeah, it's open to do right now.
Are you going to type it in the feedback on FSO? Because I don't know if he said we're supposed to reply in FSO or not.
I've been talking to him in FSO for like I just have conversations with him sometimes. Especially in like my feedback, like in my feedback when he said something like that I did wrong, I ask him, "Hey, so what is this? Like, does this mean this?" And he responds to me. Go.
The key would need its own BP, yeah.
Yeah.
I think what we should do with the key is because it's going to be a pickup item or an interactable item, is just going to be like again, it's child like create a child or a parent as just the base for all interactive objects, and then we create a child blueprint class just for the key itself. Yeah.
So create a BP named interactable BP, and then create a child blueprint called key.
Yep.
With it. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it in the email there, just to be
Remember to reply all.
Yep. Reply all.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, guys. Okay, I'm gonna reply all, guys. I know. I made sure that I always reply all now.
Bro, I get
And I,
major anxiety when I decide to like attempt to email something to him.
when we email, we can have the individual questions, or is it questions from the whole group?
Be in the-
Okay. I just want to clarify if it's. I mean, I understand we can be like as the key or as the object, but I get kind of confused with that because sometimes it's like we have so many as the players, and I've never seen our teachers have a representation of something other than that. So it's like I don't have anything to go off of. It's like it's called a user story. It's like then I don't know.
Also, I hope he doesn't expect me to know everything about Unreal, so I'm just going on what you guys have said and what I think I would have to do with an Unreal to get something done. Because like with the key, I said, create a blueprint called interactable BP for all interactables, blah blah blah, child blueprint, blah blah blah, and then I said create a simple key asset or simple asset to represent the key interactable item.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't like that he wants us to do that with the subtasks because majority of the time I don't even know how I'm gonna do it until I'm actually doing it.
Right.
Because there's multiple different ways to do many things.
Yeah, especially like last class one, he would always the teacher would always repeat like this is not the way, it's just a way. And right now it's like we don't have a way, we have to follow his way. But his way is confusing. We don't even know what that is.
Square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me.
It can be, but only whenever the sun and the moon align just right.
Just right. When we create user stories deleting the offset as a player, or can you use a story begin with item? And what else did I have a question about? Oh, player metrics, because we need to create a player metrics in the game. Like, what is that? Let me go to that. Well, let me send the email first and get clarification on that, and then if I get that information today or tomorrow, fine. Did I reply all? I did.
Always a fun one. Did I do this? I'm not sure anymore.
My life is going to revolve around completion criteria now and subtasks. Like,
Yep.
wake up. As the player, I want to brush my teeth so that I may have clean teeth.
Yeah, my whole subtask today was: are people going to call out so I have to do more work today? Hate being a delivery driver sometimes.
Right?
Oh no.
I work for Amazon, so we have so many people call out lately.
The way he tries to explain things and all that reminded me of this one, which was also kind of ironic because it's titled, or a lot of videos I saw with this is titled like as video game designers or developers reacting to people use your game.
Wait, what? Repeat that?
I saw this girl on TikTok and it was titled, or not, it was on iFunny and it was titled or captioned like how video game developers or designers react to people play their game and break it.
I saw this video.
I want you to break my game so I can make it better, I guess. I don't.
Dude, he was talking about at some point, yeah, and someday maybe you guys can go from being QAs to QA playtesters to being a designer and coding. I'm like, bro, I would love to be a QA and just play the fuck out of games and break them. What you mean?
Exactly.
I would gladly have that as a job and never be promoted. Saying that would be pretty hype, just breaking games.
Yeah. I will say one of the best parts, or best, lecture videos. There we go. Lecture videos I saw was, I think at the beginning and stuff, and they're like, "Hey, if anyone's here from after watching the movie Grandma's Boy, I got some like tough, bad news for you guys." And I was just like, "Damn it!" Like shit. Because he's the. That's real, man. That feels like he would be like the QA guy, just getting high and testing video games all day.
No, but he made that. Didn't he make a game though?
Yeah, he did by
He did.
himself on the side. But
He
I
made
think
his own
was-
game, but his original job is just playtester.
Yeah.
But they don't show any of the part where he actually like made the game until like near closer to the end of the movie. It's like, oh, I made this game. It was like, how the fuck did you do that in your spare time?
Yeah.
Right?
Or the fact that it keeps like, "Hey, did you like get your testing done last night?" And I'm just like, "But wait, aren't you a playtester? Like, what the hell do you do at work if you have to do the playtesting and break the game and stuff at home on your time off? Like, really?"
Nobody knows. He just goes in to talk.
All right. Cole, do you want to look at the one I finished with the acquiring a hidden key issue?
All right.
Now, I cannot find where it says something about that metrics level or something. To start our game design document? No, it's not there. Okay. It's not planning or focus on the milestones. Where? Project overview. What is it? Yes, here it is. Project overview. Since we are expanding what a metrics level is, what is a metrics level? We should give you a bit more information. First, we want to think about our game as it was in a grid, or a more straightforward way to think about things is in a 2D game where metrics would be like graph paper, any world that we can break down this way, and it would look something like the following picture. Each metric we want to show, do not want to write text in the world or on a debug console. We want to show the tester that the metrics is demonstratable.
The completion criteria in his example is also part of his subtasks.
Yeah,
Oh.
because you want to show that like the completion criteria is part of the subtask, so those need to be done and have to be a subtask in order to be completed. However, the other stuff that's bold is stuff that we still need to do. However, it's not part of the completion criteria.
Okay, so then
So
Which-
do we always include all of the completion criteria in our subtasks for every single issue?
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, because he said that when you copied the completion criteria and add to the subtask is the correct action, and completion criteria can always be a subtask. But I don't know that I'm hesitant about that word can because it's like you can, but it also can't. Like
Then,
it
so I
can
mean,
be, but it also can't. Could also
If it
not
if it
be.
if there's some situations where it is and somewhere is not, then I will have a lot of trouble differentiating the two.
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly,
I'd say we're fine to play it safe and just have because what I'm listing as the subtask, our subtasks are essentially just more detailed versions of the completion criteria, but from our developer point of view.
So it is required that every story created in Jira that has something to do with player metrics must add a completion criterion stating that the stat will be added into the metrics level. Like, do you guys?
I don't even know what that means.
I don't even know it's in the
I would
project.
just
It's the project overview document. I don't even understand it.
I would just completely ignore it for right now.
And you could always just email him about it.
I mean, if he mentions it to us at some point, we can bring that up, but
Yeah, because because we really he wants us to make a metrics level in a game in a. Hmm.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot. Under completion criteria for that, I could do the player can see a key laying on the ground or next to like a dead body. Yeah.
wait, say
I
that
don't know.
again.
I just put deceased character because I didn't want to be like, oh, you can't use dead or whatever.
Right. No, but what I was saying, Cole, is for that issue that I was just talking about, the finding and acquiring a hidden key. One of the completion criteria as a player-facing thing or whatever could be because I have the keys interactable, all that stuff. I should put in the player can see a key laying on the ground or something like that
Oh yeah, yeah, true.
because they have to see a key in order for them to know that it's interactable.
Yeah. A key is visible on the ground or something.
There we go. What I was looking at with his email, because you know how he said the completion criteria can also be a subtask. Maybe it could be like the key is interactable. I could do that on top of create a blueprint named interactable or whatever that has to do with the key being on the ground and interactable. So it's kind of like an umbrella with all those other subtasks being like that's what goes into the key being interactable. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think it matters in what specific order they go in.
Yeah,
I don't even think
Just
it
that it's
matters to
there.
add them in. I mean,
yeah. Because the other thing to think about, just going off of the review doc, is the completion criteria. So, because again, we'll have to make a video on us completing all of our stuff. The video has to show each individual point of the completion criteria. So,
for
like,
every
Makes
issue.
sense.
yeah. So if we have the completion, let's go to the health system real quick. Cause I think that would probably be the easiest. Where
And
was
we have
it?
to make this an Unreal by the 14th.
Yeah.
Fun.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly,
Jesus.
probably before because we'll have to either
Because we still got to
one.
fix this.
Yeah.
And then we gotta test
Yeah.
it every 3 days.
Yeah. So I was thinking, try to get the base function, or before I even get to that, we'll probably have to. I don't know if we each individually have to, like, record our issues and show how we completed them with all that, and then stitch it all together in one video. Because I think it's supposed to be one video. The completion sections, for example, in the demonstration section. So collaboration.
The video confirms every story marked as done in Jira. So then I guess we could just do a video of someone going through being like, all right, this issue. We're going to run through the level. We can see that we can do this.
We'll probably,
issue.
yeah, we might have to do it like have either Confluence or Jira up at the same time, so that way, like we're doing the character health. Be like, hey, this is our user story of as a player, I want to be able to see my health when I take damage. So as you can see, we have the health bar at the bottom. It's red to make it distinguishable from any other bars. Maybe we shouldn't say that, but anyway, basically kind of go for each little bullet point, 1, 2, 3, and then if there's any actions, like for the traps, like, oh, here's the trap, here's a trap.
You have to walk over it, and
yeah. So as you can see, there's collision. All right, cool. And the collision, it does damage. There's a visual effect, and then so on and so forth through each individual issue, and then kind of go from there.
And just a heads up, we do have to do it as a team, the video. So what my suggestion would be is since I can do video editing and everything, we can each record our own issues that we were working on.
Mm-hmm.
And do our own videos of them, and then we could upload the files of the video files or whatever, and I can go in and edit them all together if you'd like.
Yes,
that's
please.
fine.
You got.
I know how to do it too, but
No, I mean whoever wants to do it. I was just saying we can
yeah,
really be smart.
it's a good idea.
So we got 7 days.
Well, I think if we get I know it's a pain in the ass, but if we want to really just grind hard and between now and end of tomorrow, if we want to have all 3 of our sentences and issues created, then the day after that, so 3 days, then we can assign issues to everyone, log time, our estimated time, and then after day 3, we have however many days left to actually go into Unreal and execute all of that.
Okay, I can dig that. I mean, I'm down to meet tomorrow if you guys. Honestly, I don't know about everybody else's schedule, but for those of you that are available, I'm typically free after like 5 Eastern. So
Yeah.
okay.
And then
But, I mean,
we can
I'll
keep
still
doing
be
what we're
on.
doing now, and obviously we're not just going to have a constant phone call running. So if I create an issue, or if I'm working on an issue and its completion criteria and I want Cole to look at it, I can just ping Cole, hey, do you want to look at this and make sure it goes up to the standards, or whoever wants to look at it and just verify that it looks good and meets the requirements, then we can still do that through text.
Yeah, and I mean, if there's times when I'm working on it, I might just pop in the meeting room if anyone wants to join in, because I really don't mind.
Yeah.
I'll probably just join him, yeah. So Mark said, he asked in the Discord, he said, should we not be doing UE4 stuff while doing the sentences so it's not crammed in 3 days?
I mean,
It seems like we would want to get all the issues and everything figured out in Jira and Confluence first before trying to begin working.
it can be a double-edged sword. It will save us time for sure, but also we'd be hurting ourselves because we might get too deep into UE4 and then lose track of what we're doing on Jira, so we'd be sticking our fingers into too many pies.
Yeah, we can't. We have to start the sprint first and then do the work, and then we can open up Unreal Engine. Because I mean, I know he's going to be able to keep track of that. So
I think having everything together all at once is a lot better than having like 3 things up and ready to be worked on, work on those, and then go and do more issues. Just have everything all done at once.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, after if someone can give me a lowdown, I can do stuff early in the morning before work.
Yeah,
Fact.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the stuff we're talking about. Yes, sir.
Almost 3.
And
The
don't
first hour was
hesitate.
broken.
Yeah. Don't hesitate to send the instructor emails too if you need to. That's like the biggest thing. They're there for a reason, so we got to just, I'll be like, "Hey, bruh, it's your job." Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Well, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go shower because I need to release my brain from like these past few hours, and plus I'm dirty as fuck.
So
you go.
Simon,
feel that.
Simon, the user store, not the user store, but the Sprint Go, the last one that you put, is that the one that we're gonna go with?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
yeah. In the in Jira itself, under the GDP sprint, like in the backlog, I already copy pasted in what that sentence is, and we've been making issues off of that.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I also got to put it in Confluence.
Where is it at?
The
GDP milestone 1. Oh, you're talking about on the Jira? Yeah. Sorry about that. Tell them where it is.
it's in the backlog, where it says backlog issues 10, shows all of our issues that we've made. Up at the top where it says there's no issues in the sprint, up near that, it
Oh,
should show
yep.
text. Yeah.
Okay, I see it.
And it doesn't all show up on the screen, so if you highlight and then just drag to the right, it will show you, or use the side scroll bar, whatever. Yeah. All right. Let me know if you guys need anything. Just at me, and I can just text back. And I'll be pinging some of you guys if I need verification on the issues or anything.
I'll still be near my computer, but I'm probably gonna definitely take a break.
Yeah,
I need it.
take a break as well.
But we got a lot covered. I'm glad we're all on the same page, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
so too.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely needed it.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
And like you all were saying, I mean, I'm available anytime after 3 my time. So if you guys want to hop in here again and just chit chat about, the issues and stuff again tomorrow, I'm down for that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like just as you're working on it, like helping each other out with anything.
Right.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll
then I
check
will
in.
talk to you guys later then.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, see you guys. I'll still be
All
here,
right.
but I'll be muted. But yeah, I'll still be here.
Oh, yeah, same.
All
We'll
right.
probably hop back into at some point. Who knows?
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good job, everyone. Good job.
Later, guys.